What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, so by now you guys have already heard the news, I'm quite sure. It was announced earlier today. It's been all over social media, all over the internet. Tons of articles and videos have been written about this situation. The Mandalorian and Grogu coming to a theater near you. Of course, this is on the Star Wars Twitter X page. Mandalorian and Grogu are headed to the big screen. Directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Favs, Kennedy, and Filoni. The Mandalorian and Grogu, dumb name, by the way, okay? Dumb name for the movie. I hope this is just a working title. Will go into production later this year. All right, so what does this all mean? That's what everybody's wondering. I think the first thing we all got to agree with, okay? This is an absolute act of desperation. This is what I was saying. This news actually dropped like a few minutes before we were going live on the Pro show. I was on the WDW Pro channel today on the live. And this thing dropped right before we went live. You know, like Jonas J. Campbell is shooting that out in the chat, in the private chat. Like, oh my God, this thing is just happening, man. We got to switch up. You know, so everybody had to switch up whatever it was we were about to talk about. And then we just start talking about this. But I'll give my same thoughts that I gave on that show. And basically, I just feel like this is an act of desperation. They absolutely had to change the narrative because lately, if you haven't been paying attention, Star Wars is getting absolutely drugged. You know, the entire franchise is getting drugged from pillar to post because Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy came out and said, this is 2024 and we need a woman, or it's about time a woman led Star Wars storytelling. You know, completely disrespecting all the women that have led Star Wars storytelling in the past, all right, including her own boss. But not only that, you know, the Rey movie is just a movie that nobody is really checking for. Nobody really wants to watch. Nobody really wants to see. Nobody likes this character anyway. So then when all of those comments that Sharmeen has made in regards to men and how she feels about men and about how her activism pretty much drives her storytelling, it's pretty much behind all of the storytelling that she does. When that information got out there, it was a wrap. Whatever the Rey movie was going to be, it was curtains, okay? It was absolute curtains. And I have my questions right now on either whether that Rey movie happens or if it does happen, if Sharmeen is going to be the director. But they had to regain control of the narrative that's out there about Star Wars. They had to get that back. The YouTubers had it, okay? The YouTubers have control right now. We have the con. You know, and they are absolutely running Star Wars ragged. They are dragging everything about Star Wars from pillar to post. And the shills are absolutely no help at all. The shills are out there throwing shaming language, just completely ignoring the arguments, you know, making complete buffoons of themselves. Oh, you know, the original Star Wars was a documentary or shot like a documentary. That's why they got Sharmeen. I mean, they out there trying BS like that. Like, so what do you do in that situation, right? It's like, geez, man, the shills can't even help us out right now. All right, man, we got to do something, guys. We got to come back and take control of our own franchise's narrative, which is what this is all about. This is just them seizing control back so now they can talk about, oh, we're talking about The Mandalorian. We're talking about Grogu, stuff that people mostly saw as positive. The first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, people mostly say, hey, good stuff. The last episode of season 2 brought half of the Star Wars fan base back. The people that had abandoned Star Wars after The Last Jedi, a lot of them were like, we're back, baby, let's go. But see what happened? What happened? Then you got Boba Fett, then you got Obi-Wan, then you got Mando season 3, and I'll get to Mando season 3 in a moment, because I think that this kind of proves that they were messing with Mando season 3. And then you get Ahsoka. And now you got the Rey movie coming up next. Oh, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We ain't doing that. Okay. The fans had been turning against this franchise for so long. And now Sharmeen has absolutely shut the door on this thing. So, yeah, they had to get this narrative back in their control. And so this was actually a smart move. For once, finally, they do something smart. And sometimes in your most desperate hour, you know, you figure some shit out. You know, it's like, damn, man, we are struggling right now. All right, guys, we got to get real with them. All right, we got to finally do something that maybe the fans might like instead of just keep putting out like the Acolyte, you know, and the Skeleton Crew and all kind of nonsense like that and that nobody cares about. We got to do something that the fans might actually get behind. And so let's go ahead and talk about Mando and Grogu. You know, so yeah, I think this was a smart move. Now, will it work or not? That remains to be seen. Let's jump into this. All right, so this is on StarWarsMovie.com. This is the official release. The Mandalorian and Grogu Journeys to the Big Screen by the StarWars.com team. You know, it's funny how they didn't release like a video with Jon Favreau and, Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni all gathered together, do some sort of a presentation. No, they rushed this thing out there. That's how you know they were desperate. They hurried up and they got this thing out there to get control of the narrative. So everybody would stop talking about Sharmeen and start talking about this. They had to do this. This was vital. Okay, Star Wars was floundering. I mean, it's already been floundering, but this was their most desperate hour, okay? And they said, help me, Obi-Wan Favreau. You are our only hope. And he might be. He might be the last hope this company has to fix this thing, okay? The Mandalorian and Grogu are embarking on a new adventure to movie theaters, directed by Jon Favreau, produced by Favs, Kathleen, and Dave. The Mandalorian and Grogu will go into production in 2024. I have loved telling stories set in the rich world that George Lucas created, said Favreau. The prospect of bringing the Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen is extremely exciting. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have ushered into Star Wars two new beloved characters, and this new story is a perfect fit for the big screen, added Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. The Mandalorian and Grogu will lead Lucasfilm's ongoing feature development slate, including films helmed by Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, James Mangold, and Dave Filoni, who is also currently developing Ahsoka Season 2 amongst those in the works. All right, so we have this statement right here. Mandalorian and Grogu is going to lead the current ongoing feature development slate, which means that this is the next thing up to bat. This is leading the slate. So this is the next thing that they're going to come out with. It ain't going to be the Rey movie. And this is absolutely needed, okay? They absolutely had to make sure that the next thing that they put in theaters was a slam dunk, or as close to a slam dunk as they could get. Because these cats are nervous as hell, and they know that Sharmeen is not the answer. They know that Sharmeen is an ideological thing. That's something for ideology. This is for the franchise. This is something that we got to do to make sure that we still have a franchise on the other side of the next movie. If the Rey movie is your next movie, it's a wrap, all right? It's done. Your franchise is dead. It's already dying, and it's now dead. You bring that thing out there, if that's your next movie, and it does, whatever, $100 million in the box office, because nobody would go and watch that, directed by activist Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. If that's your next movie, it's a wrap. It's over. Stick a fork in it. The franchise is done. But if you put Mando and Grogu out, maybe you got a shot. Maybe you can still hold on to this franchise for a few more years while you pull your head out of your asses and figure some shit out. Maybe, okay? Especially if you let this guy right here, Jon Favreau, figure some things out. If you stop meddling with him, okay? Because look, I'm one of these cats. I absolutely believe that they messed with Mando Season 3. They absolutely messed with that show, First of all, they messed with it by, firing Gina Carano, and now the whole Cara Dune thing. She was supposed to lead the Rangers of the New Republic. Like all of these various storylines that were supposed to be in the Rangers of the New Republic, he has to shoehorn them into other series. So that's the first thing that they messed with. But you already know that Lizzo Jack Black nonsense, that don't sound like something John would do. Now, I could be wrong, but again, that just don't sound like something he would do. But and listen, I might read too deeply between the lines, okay? I might be trying to go too deep underneath the lines, but I think this proves that they messed with Mando Season 3, because why did they go so fast with this? Why did they push this so quickly if they had such confidence? Because look, Mando Season 3 was an absolute disaster. Fans didn't like it. The viewership fell off the side of a cliff. So why would you have enough confidence to go forward with a movie from the Mando, with Mando and Grogu? Why would you have so much confidence to go forward with the movie unless in the back of your head, yeah, man, we was messing with this shit. We messed it up, man. We got involved with John, and John was probably sitting there saying, I ain't gonna even say nothing. Y'all watch this thing bottom out. And then after you're done, and after you come knocking back on my door, here, I got a list of demands. I'm hoping he has a list of demands for these clowns. I'm hoping he's coming in like, look, I got full carte blanche. I can do whatever I want. Don't say shit to me. Get out. Don't even come in here. Dave, I just need you for some story points, all right? Hey, can Jedi do this and that? Well, shit, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be asking Dave what Jedi can do, because after the Ahsoka, man, Dave is just all over the place with it. Well, but nevertheless, hey, all right, come on through, give me some story points. All right, go, get your ass out of here. And, I'll figure out the rest by myself. And let John handle it from here, all right? Because, again, they made a move to greenlight this thing, which like really quick, Like they didn't do this with Ahsoka, and Dave Filoni's the chief creative officer. And he's still trying to figure out and develop that. And that still might not come out. Everybody's saying that Ahsoka season 2 is saved. It's in development, okay? It hasn't been greenlit at all. So they still are on the fence with it. Well, let's see if we can figure some stuff out. But they already got this thing figured out. It's greenlit. I think this is season 4. I think I read somewhere that they were still continuing with season 4. Yeah, this is on Deadline. It says it hasn't been confirmed yet whether Pascal will reprise his role as the Mandalorian for the new film. At present, a 4th season of his hit series is in development. Yeah, I mean, he's saying right here, Jon Favreau is saying he's bringing the Mandalorian and his apprentice Grogu to the big screen. Now, I don't think they'll be switching up from Pedro Pascal anytime soon. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that Pascal is being in this. But yeah, it says here a 4th season of the hit series is also in development. So does this take over for season 4? Or is it like, well, if this thing is a success and it's a hit, then we'll go ahead and do a 4th season? But I mean, in my opinion, if this movie is a hit, just go ahead and tell Mando movies. Stop doing a TV series. TV series over. Because Star Wars needs to be in theaters. It's a film franchise that needs to be in theaters in order for the franchise to be healthy. So if this film does well, then you keep it in theaters. You don't try to, all right, let's go back to television now. No. Okay. These clowns over here, like they talking about these other series, the Rey movie, that's a disaster. I don't think Sharmeen is going to direct this. I think, in my opinion, what's going to happen is they're going to continue with the Rey movie, but they're going to get this chick out of here. She is not going to be a part of this thing. That's my personal opinion. Just me again, trying to see what's happening and reading between the lines and seeing the tea leaves and as they're developing. She sounds like a problem child, and I guarantee you the last thing they want is this problem child that's a super hardcore activist that's been drugged all over social media all week long. The last thing they're going to want is for this chick to be attached to any Star Wars property, especially one that's going to be as divisive as Rey. Nah, they're going to get her up out of there, and then they're probably going to bring in somebody like Bryce Dallas Howard, which is who they should have gave the film to in the first place. But besides that, James Mangold is a huge, giant question mark after Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. How many Star Wars fans are going to trust anything that he does? And then Dave Filoni doing his little Mandoverse thing. Like how many people are excited about the Mandoverse? Maybe the Mandalorian, yeah. But you add to the Mandoverse Ahsoka. You add to the Mandoverse the Book of Boba Fett, other characters from the Mandalorian, not necessarily Mando and Grogu, but you got like Bo-Katan and that whole crew. So what happens with those guys? And then, of course, you're going to have the skeleton crew. I guess you're going to have to see how the skeleton crew shakes out. If the skeleton crew turns out to be like a smash success, all right, then maybe it's all right. All right, Dave, you're saved, okay? Because this skeleton crew show is somehow keeping people's interest in the Mandoverse. But I still think that he's going to wrap this thing up. Filoni's going to end up wrapping this thing up in a television series. It's not going to be a movie. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know about Ahsoka season 2 either. I don't think there's any way you drop another $200 million into this thing. I think you say, hey, Dave, figure out how to wrap all of this shit up, in like an 8-episode series. Get some help with the writing. Find some writers, not you, writers, actual writers, to do it. And let's just finish this thing up. And let's wrap this thing up. And let's keep going with the Mando. Yeah, this works. Yeah, let's keep going with Mando and Grogu. But we'll have to see what happens with this. I'm not sure if Jon Favreau, if he turns season 4 into a movie, it feels like it. It feels like that's basically what they asked him to do. And it was kind of ironic because this story dropped a month to the day, from the video I did where we were talking about Mando season 4 being a movie. That dropped December 9, that story, and then January 9, it becomes a reality. So I thought that was interesting. But you guys let me know what you think about this situation. I find this altogether fascinating, but not surprising whatsoever, And another question is, if Jon Favreau has carte blanche, can he bring back Cara Dune? Can he bring back Gina Carano? That would be another feather in his cap. And would Gina Carano even come back if she was asked? That's a big question, I don't know. I have my doubts, but time will tell. But you guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.